This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Yeah, right back to regular posting time here. Well, the fact that it is afternoon, but ladies and gentlemen, a day off from work. Sit back, kick back at home, and relax for a morning. Actually, got to sleep in on a weekday. Craziness, I know, but you know what? That doesn't mean we should not be talking Oilers as much as humanly possible. If I'm going to take a day off on a Friday, I better make sure I got some content up on YouTube taken care of. Can't take a full day off of everything. So, let's get to it, right? We already discussed the NHL 21 stuff this morning. I've been meaning to get to that for a while. We got to it. Bing, bang, boom. Done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to something I wanted to get to a couple days ago, but didn't because I just kicked back, relaxed, and went to bed early. But what I want to get to is the fact that the Oilers may be looking at saving cap in a way we aren't thinking about. I've seen this theory floated on Twitter a couple times by a couple people, and I honestly don't know where the true, real first time it was mentioned was, or else I would find that for you. But the fact is, the Oilers have three guys signed to big NHL deals or NHL deals of any sort that are over in Europe right now playing professional hockey, that being Joachim Nygard, Gaetan Haas, and of course Patrick Russell. All three guys, Patrick Russell signed for 700K, Joachim Nygard 875, and Gaetan Haas 915 against the Caps. So you look at that right there, that's a lot of cap space technically taken up by those three guys. And depending how you evaluate each one of them, right? There's a left winger, center, right winger. It really does make sense that this should be a theory the Oilers should look at when it comes to saving a couple of $100,000 against the cap, right? If you're talking Haas, you're talking just about $1 million against the salary cap you're saving by having him on loan all of the season in Europe, even once you get back to playing NHL hockey here in January, February, whenever we get back to it. So, for the Oilers, that is a really intriguing possibility because it opens up not only cap space but also a roster spot, right? That's the thing here. Is you can essentially, if you can't create your cap space elsewhere, you create your cap space that way and you fit under the cap, and Ethan Bear and William Lagesson and all that whole deal. Bang, done. Good, good. Golden. Yeah, okay. But there is also the potential of you can plug and play. And when I talk about plug and play, the Oilers currently sitting at $732,000 of cap space projected by Cap Friendly as of today. I mean, that number changes pretty much hourly, so who actually knows? I can't keep track at this point. But what that does allow is a roster spot at the same point, right? Is Joachim Nygard, Gaetan Haas, if they are healthy, if they are ready to go when training camp and the regular season starts for the Oilers, it is guaranteed they will be one or two of 14 bodies the Oilers carry up front in the forward core. So, you all of a sudden leave one of those two guys, even Patrick Russell if you want to include him in the 14 as a 13th, 14th forward kind of deal. If you leave one of those guys in Europe, that opens up a roster spot for one of the kids on the farm club that we've been looking at for a long while. And when we get down to those three kids that I'd like to talk about, is you've got Cooper Marody, you've got Ryan McLeod, and you've got Tyler Benson, right? Right there, bing, bang, boom. Those are three very important names for the Edmonton Oilers in terms of developing prospects and building in the farm system into the NHL ranks. Well, okay, so there you go. Those are your three names you're probably looking at to fill holes. And how does that work? Cooper Marody's a right-hand shot. He can play center. He's also listed as a right winger on Cap Friendly, so there is potentially, for some reason, ability to play on the right wing for Cooper Marody. Ryan McLeod, a centerman, and the ultimate wild card, I think, going into next year. And Tyler Benson, right? Tyler Benson, we've seen him make his pro debut with the Oilers. He didn't show so well early on, but the last couple games with Sheehan and Archibald, he was clicking. And now you got to think the Oilers are a much different team in the bottom six than they were prior to like a Tyler Benson or a Cooper Marody making the NHL team, right? Cooper Marody, well, maybe not so much for Cooper Marody. We had differences going on in the NHL team at that point, right? Ryan Strome was still here for a little bit of it, and yada yada yada. But for those two guys, this is really a chance to get the job done and break in if either Nygard, Haas, or Russell is left in Europe. For Tyler Benson, it's an excellent opportunity because you look at that left wing kind of situation is depending how you slot him. If you're looking at Ennis on the fourth or first line, you could easily take away Nygard and slot Tyler Benson in on a legitimate third line, and yeah, all of a sudden you've got a younger third line led by a veteran in Kyle Turris. Well, okay, that makes sense. And Tyler Benson, a guy who can distribute the puck. Kyle Turris, a guy that can distribute the puck. Well, all of a sudden, yes, Puljujärvi. What have we been yelling all off season already? Shoot the puck, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. If he's got two guys always looking for him, that's pretty easy to shoot the puck. And Tyler Benson, he can snap the puck pretty good himself when he actually gets around to it. And same with Kyle Turris. So right there, that would be a possibility that you could open up by leaving Nygard in the SHL once he gets back from injury and the season gets underway here in North America. Now for Cooper Marody, this is really a chance for him to break in if, say, a Patrick Russell or a Gaetan Haas is left overseas. And I don't see one or the other being more of a likelihood over the other. I really don't see any of these guys really being left in the professional leagues overseas. But I mean, at this point, if you're Ken Holland, you have to look at everything, and that's why we're discussing it today. So Cooper Marody, he can fit either Russell's or Haas's spot, and realistically at 23 years old, it's about time he does break in. Cooper Marody, a guy who didn't get a fair shake under Todd McLeod, a fair shake under Ken Hitchcock, and has now played pretty much since those 6 games with the Oilers way back in 18-19. He's now played a total of 88 games at the AHL level. And yeah, sure, last year concussion issues and stuff, but he ended up putting up 71 points in 88 games in the AHL in the past 2 years. Yeah, this guy is due to get a chance to shine, and he's playing with Dornbirner EC in the IceHL, and 1 game played, so we continue to see what that will bring for him. But right, a guy who can easily fill one of those holes. And then, yeah, you know what? We have to talk about the ultimate wild card. Ryan McLeod, a guy that the Oilers seem very high on, a guy that seems very high on getting to the NHL level. And you see by all stretches of the imagination here, the NLA, the NL, and the Swiss Cup, Ryan McLeod is having some production in Switzerland. So in 3 games played with Zug, I believe I was told it was, in the NLA, he's got 2 assists in 3 games played. He has 3 points in the Swiss Cup, and he has 3 points in 6 games in the NL. I don't know what the NL is. That's a difference on the sheet that I've never seen, but you get what I mean, right? Is Ryan McLeod, he's putting up numbers overseas, and of course what he did in the training camp coming to playoffs. You look at what Ryan McLeod could bring to the table, third-line centerman, hopefully one day, I guess, what we're looking at him for. But right now, if you had him in a 4th-line role where he can really develop, the strength of the game, because Ryan McLeod's not a small guy. He's 21 years old. He's 6'2", 206 pounds. So yeah, you know what? If you have to throw him out there on a 4th line, that's an interesting take, because yeah, he's got the big body to do that role. But at the same rate, it's not your traditional bottom 6 that the Oilers were used to last year. If I was telling you, let's throw Ryan McLeod to the Wolves and put him on the 4th line in 1920, you'd be crazy, right? Because the 4th line, what was the 4th line? Was it Riley Sheehan and Josh Archibald, or was it Gaetan Haas and Jujhar Khaira, or whoever was down there at the time? We honestly didn't know, because the bottom 6 was just a mess. Realistically, it was a productive mess in terms of, like, we got to the playoffs and stuff, but still, it was a mess. This year, though, with a defined 3rd-line scoring line, you now open up a guy like Ryan McLeod who can step in 4th-line minutes, and because everybody else on the other 3 lines is doing heavy lifting, if he goes to work, plays a physical game, plays a skill game, he could still benefit just as much as if he was playing on a 3rd line. And that's the incredible part here, is it really comes down to, if Ryan McLeod makes the NHL team, what his role is and what his ice time is as to what he will do for the Oilers in the upcoming season. But again, let's bring it all back around. When you're talking about this, if you're probably talking Haas, Nygard, and Russell being left, one or two or three of them, or more than likely just one, in Europe, you're talking cap space to sign Bear and Legason. But then all of a sudden you're also talking a roster spot up front that's available. And when it comes down to it, Marody, you've got McLeod, and you've got Benson. Those are three guys very capable of filling either of those three roles, and of course adding and developing the Edmonton Oilers lineup into next season and years after. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.